Meanwhile, sitting on his throne, king of gluttony, Beelzebub sighs in frustration, feeling bored. He wonders why no one has come to challenge him yet. He slumps back, eyes narrowing as his thoughts start to swirl. Maybe it's actually better this way, he thinks. A sudden flashback hits him like a blow to the gut. He remembers when he got attacked by Carolina and her wolves. It's a memory that sends a cold shiver down his spine. He recalls the fear that gripped him, the weight in his chest as the beasts lunged toward him. He had been frozen, unable to move with no chance to escape. He thinks to himself that maybe it's better no one comes to challenge him. It's safer this way. Suddenly, a deep voice booms from above like thunder cracking through the air. It is the demon lord who orders him to heed the call and come to him in the depth of darkness. The words hit him hard, making his breath catch in his throat, his heart racing. He remembers not long ago when Samuel had been summoned and granted death. He wonders if it is his turn now. His head lowers and his shoulders slump, the weight of resignation settling in. He faces a bitter truth. This life was never really his. It belongs to the Lord. It's better to face death by the Lord's will than to be defeated by those detestable humans. Moments later, Beelzebub is kneeling before the demon lord, completely still. The glowing light surrounds him, swallowing him whole. The demon lord looms over him, covered in red. The air is thick with power, and it feels heavy. Beelzebub knows he has no chance and must obey the Lord. In the body of the demon lord, Subiang speaks, ordering Beelzebub to offer his life once again. There is a moment of silence. Like a humble little servant, Beelzebub accepts his fate. He says his life was given by the Lord, and if the Lord wants to take it back, he will not argue. Su Yang sees the loyalty in Beelzebub and approves. The ground trembles, and the light around them grows sharper, almost unbearable. Beelzebub cries out one last time, but the darkness quickly surrounds him. Violet chains appear out of nowhere, crackling with energy. They wrap tightly around Beelzebub, holding him in place. His red eyes widen in panic, and his body jerks violently as he tries to break free. But it's no use. The chains are too strong. The chains tighten, draining his energy. His body shakes, and sharp streaks of energy tear through him, pulling all his strength away. He opens his mouth in a silent scream, but no sound comes out. His body trembles as the chains continue to drain him, and in a matter of seconds he dies. The screen in front of Su Yang flashes, notifying him that Beelzebub, the king of original sin, is dead. Su Yang gains 3.7 billion experience with 40% overflow. This means that 2.22 billion experience is stored for later use. Beelzebub's body collapses to the ground, lifeless. All of his power and strength are gone. His body is nothing but an empty shell now, stripped of everything that once made him so powerful. Beelzebub drops many valuable items. The first item is his flesh, which gives a permanent increase of 5 million HP and boosts all of his base attributes by 20,000. The second item is a special shell. When used on a target, it binds them and applies a powerful effect called imprisonment. This effect traps targets below the solar tier, making it so they cannot move, use skills, or use any items. It's a very strong tool for controlling enemies. The third item is Beelzebub's demonic core. This item grants immunity to demonic corruption for up to 100 layers. It protects the user from being corrupted by dark or evil forces. The fourth item is Beelzebub's demonic horns. These horns are incredibly strong and are excellent material for forging. They could be used by legendary blacksmiths to create powerful divine artifacts. Su Yang thinks to himself. He had expected that Beelzebub, who has not fully evolved yet through devouring, would drop less valuable items compared to Samuel, who is ranked as a demigod. But to his surprise, there isn't much of a difference. The items are incredibly valuable. However, Su Yang realizes that these items, while strong, are not the most important thing right now. There is something else that matters much more. Su Yang can hardly believe his luck. It feels so strange that even the goddess of luck could not explain it. He jokes to himself that it's as if he has kidnapped her to be his wife, such is the fortune he's having. His eyes turn toward a glowing chest labeled Special Drops. He decides to see what treasure it holds. With a flick of his hand, he tears through the glowing light, and suddenly, a deafening boom shakes the air. Golden light bursts out, exploding around him. Su Yang stands in shock as he sees what emerges. It's a divine artifact, Sin Reversal, Beelzebub's punishment. The artifact floats in the air, its radiant glow pulsing with an overwhelming sense of divine power. Its surface shimmers with details, and Su Yang quickly scans the text, his eyes darting over the powerful traits it holds. The artifact grants 50% HP and 30% tenacity, making it much harder for anyone to harm its wielder. It also boosts all elemental resistances by 20%, adding even more protection. The first trait that Su Yang reads is Sin Gluttony. This ability allows the artifact to absorb 2% of the attributes from every enemy slain by the user. This means that with every enemy killed, the artifact makes its wielder stronger by taking a small part of their power. The next trait is called Sin Reversal, Gluttony's Punishment. This ability rips the authority of gluttony away from the sinful lords and reduces all of their attributes by 10%. This makes those enemies weaker, stripping them of some of their power. But the next revelation makes Su Yang pause in surprise. The artifact also holds the power of Judgment, King's Slayer. When the wielder defeats a sinful lord, the weapon vanishes into the void and the user gains permanent authority over gluttony. Su Yang realizes that this artifact is more powerful than he imagined. It's not just a tool, it's a source of endless strength. Su Yang reflects on the artifact's power. He understands now why it is part of the same series as Wrath's Punishment. Not only does it have similar abilities, but it also grants the authority of gluttony. This means it can devour 2% of the slain enemy's attributes, making the wielder stronger with every kill. To Su Yang, this is nothing short of divine power. However, Su Yang knows that there is a problem. The artifact requires the user to be at the demigod tier to equip it. He cannot use it yet. If he tries to level up too quickly, it would attract unwanted attention. After all, job transfers through the statues leave a record. If someone notices his rapid rise in power, it could be suspicious. Su Yang thinks to himself that if only there was a way to disrupt the transfer shrine, he could avoid the records and level up without drawing attention. He wonders if such a solution exists, but for now, he knows he must be patient. Meanwhile, in the Holy City, the High Priestess reflects on the situation. Although the identity of the person who stole the first Sin Reversal artifact is still unknown, she is relieved that no major conflicts have happened between the nations or their associations so far. She hopes that if the next steps follow the Round Table's decisions, things will stay stable. The plan is for each nation to take turns challenging the kings of original sins. If this happens, it should keep the peace. Each nation has already sent guards to their respective demon abyss entrances. Only authorized expedition teams are allowed to enter. This should help prevent any incidents like the one that happened last time. The High Priestess hopes that these measures will be enough to maintain order and avoid chaos. The High Priestess then raises her hands toward the divine statue, preparing to make her plea. She begins to speak, asking for help, but before she can finish, a notification suddenly appears on her system. It informs her that the current Red Moon corruption rate has reached 14%. She reflects on this new development with concern. The corruption rate is already at 14%, and she knows that it's a dangerous sign. To make things worse, no one has managed to complete a 5-star class change beyond the 8th tier so far. If the corruption rate reaches 50% and no significant advancements are made in the temple, then when the new expansion pack arrives, the main theme of this world will remain unchanged. It will continue to suffer under this stagnation. Feeling a deep sense of despair, the High Priestess wishes for someone to break this deadlock. She believes that this world needs a true hero, someone who can bring about real change and restore balance before it's too late. Just then, another notification surprises the High Priestess. It informs her that another piece of the Reverse Sin series has been received and that Beelzebub, the King of Gluttony, has been defeated. She is shocked by this news. Quickly, she telepathically reaches out to others, ordering them to alert all squads stationed at the Demon Abyss. She wants them to report any unusual activity immediately. Several people respond, saying they have not found anything unusual in their areas. The High Priestess reflects, thinking that the Holy City's guards are all elite warriors. Even an 8th-tier assassin should not be able to slip past them unnoticed. She wonders if the problem lies within the Demon Abyss itself. She starts to worry, wondering could it be connected to that mysterious figure she saw last time. Suddenly, her chat starts flooding with messages. Takegawa asks what is going on, worried that another artifact has been stolen. He wonders if the United Federal States, led by Augustron, might have made an early move. Augustron quickly responds, denying any involvement. He says he is leaving tomorrow and has been drinking just now. Poker then asks the High Priestess what is happening. He is confused, saying that with the temple guards in place, how could there still be a problem? Carolina speaks up, voicing her suspicions. She says that while she doesn't want to challenge the High Priestess's authority, everything seems too suspicious. Finally, Tang Zun comments. He says that it's not unreasonable for people to suspect some kind of collusion within the temple. He hopes the High Priestess can provide an explanation that will satisfy everyone. The High Priestess feels the pressure mounting. It seems that many people are starting to doubt what's happening, and she needs to act fast to keep control of the situation. The High Priestess responds calmly, telling everyone that while they are free to have their doubts, they should maintain basic reasoning. She reminds them that the Transfer Temple has never interfered in any competition since it was created, and that she herself has never left the Holy City. She continues, asking if the Transfer Temple really wanted to interfere, why would it do so secretly? She believes that everyone should already understand this. A few voices murmur in agreement saying that it's true, but one person speaks up admitting that while they trust the High Priestess, they just can't make sense of the situation. Another voice questions if, after ruling out all other possibilities, it's possible that they are missing something important. The High Priestess raises her staff and with a serious expression, she declares that the truth can only be found by venturing into the deepest parts of the demon abyss. At this point, she proposes a change of plan. She suggests abandoning the initial decision made during the meeting and forming a united raid team made up of the strongest members from each guild to begin the Abyss raid immediately. She then asks if anyone objects to this new course of action. There are no objections and everyone agrees with the High Priestess's plan. Seeing this, the High Priestess makes her decision. She declares that the team will be assembled immediately. She emphasizes that they must not allow another reverse sin artifact to fall into the hands of thieves. Meanwhile, deep within the shadows, Suyang watches, his crimson eyes glowing ominously through the void. His thoughts slither through his mind, cold and calculating. He knows that another world announcement will be made soon, especially after the second artifact has been stolen. This will make the Abyss Raiders take the situation even more seriously. A wicked grin appears on his face, sharp and foreboding. He anticipates that they will charge in as early as tomorrow. Suyang reflects on the situation. The Demon Abyss has a total of 700 floors. Every 100 floors, a king of sin appears. Right now, gluttony and wrath have already been dealt with by him, but lust and greed have not yet revived. This means that the raiders can push straight to the 500th floor. But Suyang knows that all of this follows the established system of the Abyss. His very existence, however, is the greatest disruption to that system. He wonders to himself what would happen if he were to place the strongest, Pride, Lucifer, directly in gluttony's domain. He knows that with such a powerful force, no one could possibly clear the 100th floor. Soon, inside the Abyss, Augustin steps forward with confidence, declaring that he has finally returned. He raises his staff, and a burst of crimson thunder cracks through the air. The energy strikes down hidden demons, clearing the area around him. He turns to his team and checks if they are ready for the challenge ahead. Tang Zhen, calm and prepared, says he is ready to set out any time. Poker, with a serious tone, reminds everyone that the first 200 floors have already been cleared. This time, they cannot let the third reverse sin weapon fall into the wrong hands. It turns out hundreds of raiders have gathered under the leadership of Augustin, Tang Zhen, Carolina, and Poker. Their goal is to sweep through the Abyss and collect as many reverse sin series artifacts as possible. Carolina looks around at her team and says everyone here is top tier, so she won't waste words. She asks who wants to take the lead against the floor 300 boss. Mike, a young knight ranked 8, steps forward, eager for the challenge. He says he has always been beaten to the punch by stronger members before, so now he wants a chance to fight the abyssal bosses himself. Carolina, excited to see his determination, agrees. Tang Zhen, calm and focused, tells everyone to get ready and push forward without hesitation. The group moves quickly, attacking as they go, and soon they reach the 100th floor. Poker, seeing no remaining guard bosses, suggests charging through the floor quickly. But unknown to them, Lucifer, the Queen of Pride, is already waiting for them at the 100th floor. One of the raiders reports that enemy units have been detected ahead. Carolina is shocked and asks if there are more enemies. She wonders if the King of Gluttony is still alive. Tang Zhen, also surprised, looks ahead and quickly realizes that the enemy is not the King of Gluttony, but someone else entirely. A dark aura surrounds Lucifer. Her presence is overwhelming and suffocating. Mike, feeling bold, grins defiantly. He steps forward, ready to attack, thinking Lucifer is simply a new version of the once feared King of Gluttony. Without warning, he charges forward, his sword glowing with radiant energy. But Carolina shouts at him to stop. It's too late. Mike rushes toward Lucifer. Then, in one terrifying instant, everything freezes. The lightning strike cuts through the air, and the battlefield goes silent. The system's notification flashes, announcing that Mike, their teammate, has been killed by Lucifer. The group stands frozen in shock, realizing they are facing a far more powerful enemy than they could ever imagine. Lucifer's crimson gaze sharpens, and her presence radiates malice. The remnants of her latest attack still crackle through the air, and the team stands frozen in disbelief. One strike from her has instantly killed Mike, the 8th-ranked Templar Knight. Carolina's voice trembles as she tries to comprehend what just happened. She wonders how such a powerful attack is even possible. She grits her teeth, hiding the fear that creeps into her expression. Frustration builds in the group as they realize their best efforts are ineffective. Despite using high-level insight, nothing works. Those with weaker power are fainting simply from the pressure of Lucifer's aura. The truth sinks in. They are facing a threat unlike anything they've ever encountered before. Carolina, determined, steps forward. Her eyes shine with resolve as she activates the forbidden spell Record of True Delight. A radiant burst of light surrounds her, lighting up the battlefield in blinding colors. The spell allows the user to inspect the detailed information of a target, no matter the level difference, but as a long cooldown. And as the light fades, the spell locks onto Lucifer, revealing the monstrous truth behind her power. The system's description shows that she is the queen of original sin, pride. Lucifer's power rivals that of gods, and even the other kings of original sin hold her in awe. Her level is 400 and her attributes are terrifying. Strength of 452,121, spirit of 231,123, and speed of 213,432. The team is left stunned by the sheer scale of her abilities. Stu Yang, still in the body of the demon lord, reflects on what he has just discovered. He realizes that during the punishment battle earlier, he forgot to check Lucifer's information. Now, after seeing her stats, he is shocked. Her power is almost on par with his, a Sin Lord. Even in her weakened state, Lucifer is a Sin Monarch, and Su Yang can't imagine how powerful she would be if she were at full strength. Curious, he decides to look at her talents next. He remembers how broken the talents of Gluttony and Wrath were. He wonders if Pride's talents will be just as strong. However, when he sees the details, his disbelief grows. Lucifer's talents are incredibly overpowered. According to her abilities, anyone below her level is considered a weaker being. Even those with lower stats cannot harm her at all. Stu Yang realizes that this makes Lucifer nearly invincible against most opponents. Stu Yang is in disbelief as he thinks about what he has just seen. He can't believe it. There isn't a single divine rank professional in this world. If someone hadn't already killed a king of original sin before, Lucifer's talent would almost seem like invincibility. Su Yang is sure the designers of the Demon Abyss are insane to create something like this. He then considers the offering of the King of Pride. Lucifer's power becomes even more ridiculous when he thinks about it. If Lucifer wipes out the assault team this time, Su Yang will gain full control over them. Su Yang imagines what would happen if top-tier players like Tang Zhen and Augustin were there. He smiles, thinking about how glorious the scene would be. He can't wait for it to happen. Su Yang recalls giving Lucifer the order. He told her that he has decided that Lucifer would take Beelzebub's place and guard the 100th floor of the Abyss. He wanted those arrogant enemies to learn what true strength is. Lucifer, excited by the task, immediately accepted his command. She told him that she is his loyal servant and will always obey his orders. In present, Carolina calls forth her spirit beasts, Frost Howl, and Elemental Chimera, ordering them to protect Poker. Poker moves forward into full attack mode, raising his shield and sword, ready for battle. Tang Zhen activates his ultimate tyrant mode and commands everyone to attack with full force. Augustin, not holding back either, summons White Thunder around him and gives the same order. Tang Zhen unleashes his ultimate destruction fist, while Augustin calls down his attack, Thunderstorm of Heaven and Earth. Poker leads the charge with his sword, and Carolina's spirit beasts join the fight. Together with hundreds of raiders, they launch a powerful combined attack on Lucifer. Fortunately, their ultimate attack hits bullseye. The raiders watch in suspense, wondering if they finally defeated Lucifer. However, they are shocked when they see Carolina and Poker falling from the sky. Lucifer emerges from the smoke, completely unharmed, her health still at 100%. She holds a demonic sword, and her right eye glows an eagle crimson. She looks at them coldly, mocking them, questioning why the weak would even bother to fight. With a deadly smile, she declares that death is their inevitable fate. The attack from Lucifer leaves the raiders in disbelief. Poker, barely standing, curses in frustration. The team had put all their strength into their attack, but it did nothing to Lucifer. Carolina, shocked, questions how such a powerful entity can exist on the 100th floor. She wonders if the boss's mechanics are somehow different from what they expected. As Lucifer prepares for her next move, Tang Zhen realizes that they are in serious danger. He orders everyone activate all their defensive skills and hold their ground. Lucifer, with a sinister smile, declares that she is offering a glorious feast to her lord. She releases her devastating attack, the Sin of Pride. The explosion wipes out everything in its path. In a matter of seconds, the entire raid team is gone. Only Carolina, Tang Zhen, and Augustin remain, barely alive. Augustin, with difficulty, speaks, acknowledging that only the three of them have survived. Carolina, still shocked, mentions how even Poker, with his incredible defense, was wiped out. Tang Zhen struggles to stand and, filled with realization, comments on the terrifying power of Lucifer's attack. He understands now that the boss's mechanics must be designed to only spare those who have defeated a king of original sin before. Everyone else was instantly killed by Lucifer's attack. Augustin, though also in disbelief, remains focused. He acknowledges that knowing the mechanic doesn't change their situation. The power gap is simply too wide for them to win. Meanwhile, Lucifer, standing tall, declares that she has completed her mission, offering her loyalty to her lord. I hope that you liked today's video, and if you did, hit that like button, as today's like goal is 1,500 likes. Comment next part down below to see what happens next. Also, consider subscribing with the notification bell on to get notified as soon as a new video drops onto the channel. You can also join the channel to support me financially and watch videos before public release. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.